And now, Knock 2 Studios presents Common Censored.
The video I'm about to show you is a drone flying into an orb, and then it disables the drone, and the drone falls out of the sky. The lady recording don't know how to record, like super boomer status, barely knows how to use a phone, but she caught the important stuff. Boom, here we go. So this thing is zipping across the sky right here. Phoenix, Arizona, December 14th, dude. Watch, it's like, oh snap, I'm a freaking drone. I see an orb. I'm a, look how fast this thing goes. Check this out. So it comes up to it, it touches it. Drone doing what a drone does. Orb doing what an orb does. Boom. Dog. What? What are you kidding? What, dude? You know what I'm saying? This thing comes up to it. Do not bring a drone to an orb fight, dog. You know what I'm saying? Don't bring a freaking drone to an orb fight. Cause what? You're cooked, dude. So I thought these things were out there sniffing out some freaking nuclear stuff, but now I'm thinking they were put out there to freaking chase down these orbs or to distract us from these freaking orbs, dude.
Get so pitted. That's right, Salt Dumpster. What's up, everybody? And welcome back to Common Censored. Thanks for being here, all of you censored commoners. I'm Lord Sterling, and this is episode 301. Nuclear Regulatory Commission says radioactive material was lost in transit on the way to New Jersey, with a container showing up ripped open and empty, so that's great. I wonder which CIA operatives are responsible for that, allegedly, of course. We have Trudeau to resign in Canada, potentially, after Chrystia Freeland, his demon assistant up there, resigned, so that could be potentially some good news. We also have Steve Bannon pumping Trump 2028. Since this term is separated from the gap from 2016 with the 2020 election, this is not a second consecutive term, so maybe we could get Trump 2028 as well. I've been saying that also, man. They stole the 2020 election, so let's give them 2028 to make up for it once we prove that 2020 was stolen. Trump 2028, baby! Also, senators have introduced a bill to abolish the Electoral College for being undemocratic. Well, guess what? This is a republic, not a democracy, losers. So we're gonna keep the Electoral College regardless of what you say. Husbro 89. Hey Beavis, what's up, dude? Yeah, hopefully Trudeau bounces. Make sure to join us Monday through Friday, 6:45 p.m.-ish Eastern Time, as we cover all the crazy clown world clusterfuck chaos that is 2024. Use hashtag Common Censored and hashtag Info Infantry when you share the broadcast. One share equals one mission completed for the Common Censored Info Infantry, earning you your first enlisted rank in the Info Forces. You can find us on X at Lord Sterling _. Thank you to all of our new followers that joined us on Rumble. We're at like 1,413 right now. So if you're new to the show, smash that like button wherever it is, somewhere to links to all of the stories we covered today, articles, videos, etc. will be posted down in the video description on Rumble, as well as in the replies underneath the X broadcast feed. So if you're watching this later, feel free to click down in the show description, skim through all the topics we cover, and Mama Mac will be adding timestamps here and there so you'll know what part of the show to jump to get to the stories that interest you. Thanks, Mama Mac. Make sure to throw Mama Mac some love over at alplama.com, your new herbal health guru. with delicious, not so delicious tinctures that will help you. Big as life, one of our listeners got rid of his foot neuropathy completely in 1 month with one bottle of Mama Mac's family's lion's mane. So that's pretty badass. Check out alplama.com and avoid the petrochemical pharmaceutical industry that wants you sick and dependent. And if you want to support the show directly, you can hit up our link tree at Common Censored. Disclaimer. Views expressed on Common Censored are only opinions. Assume everything we say is false and research for yourself. We're not giving medical, legal, or financial advice. The only advice we are giving is think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. Question authority. Boom! We got a special guest today. Ed, does that make him special? Yeah, does that make him special, Ed? Just asking for a friend. What's up, Ed? Welcome back, bro.
I'm so happy they're using the alien psyop. I'm so happy.
Busted out the final card in the Matrix to try to scare everybody. Dude, crazy stuff, man. Speaking of the drone, we'll get more into that, but I saw Whiskey posted this in the chat. Lock and load. Remington drone
I need me some of those.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if I got enough buckshot.
Oh, you can never have enough buckshot, bro. You can never have enough buckshot. Let's hop over.
No, I may need to go buy more.
Yeah, I mean, that applies universally. Everybody needs to go buy more. Always. That's a constant.
You know what I was thinking about today? Those nets that you can shoot. That way you can get it in the rotor.
Oh, nice. That'd be cool. Like a bola.
Yeah, something that I guess they use it for catching people. You know, that you see on the movies where they shoot the gun and it wraps around the whole person.
Net.
Yep.
There was an
That's what I was thinking
electrified
about.
one in Arcane season 2. They use an electric one and get somebody wrapped in this net that's all shocking them. Pretty cool.
Well, the nets would be good for the dogs too.
Oh, the robot dogs? Yeah, get them all tripped up. They're gonna bust out little R2D2 circular saws and slice their way out. Like in when they get caught up in that big net, Chewie is in there and 3PO and R2D2 and he slice their way out.
Yeah.
That's the future, guys. That's the future, and it's closer than you may think. Let's check out this funny video here. This is why young dudes are voting conservative. I just saw this and thought it'd be funny to play.
People reach out to me from my past. They're like, Mike, you used to be so liberal. What happened? And the only way I can describe it is like, imagine you and your friend really like camping, and you go camping all the time. But then one day your friend starts telling you they're really worried about Bigfoot. They think Bigfoot's going to get them specifically. And then they don't stop camping, but they start telling people that they're really brave for camping and that they're camping in protest of Bigfoot. And then you kind of pull your friend aside and you're like, hey, I don't think you need to worry about Bigfoot as much as you're worried about Bigfoot. I don't think it's actually mentally healthy for you to worry about this much about Bigfoot.
But Bigfoot is supporting Project 2025. Oh!
They start saying, hey, that sounds like something a fucking Sasquatch would say. And you're like, fuck you, I'm not a Sasquatch. But then they start telling the other campers that you're making them feel unsafe and that they shouldn't let you in the Jeep Wrangler anymore. So you get really frustrated and you're like, fuck you, maybe I am a Sasquatch. And you start posting pro-Bigfoot memes online. Not because you believe them, but just you kind of want to get under their skin a little bit. But then you've also been listening to the things that Bigfoot's been saying on podcasts. And it doesn't all make sense, but some of it kind of tracks. Like maybe Smokey the Bear is lying to us about where the origins of forest fires and what's going on in Ukraine. So then all of your friends are starting to become really obnoxious. And all they talk about is Bigfoot. Meanwhile, you've been making small donations to the Sasquatch Party. Nothing huge, but enough that they send you a shirt that says Make America Gigantopithecus again. And then at that point, you're wearing the shirt in a Buc-ee's and one of your friends camping sees it and you're like, I'm never getting back in that fucking Jeep Cherokee again. God damn
it. But that Bigfoot, man, that Bigfoot, he wants peace with Russia. Can't have that. Oh, man. Thought that was pretty good. How about this? Did you see this clip of Bannon? Nick Sortor posted this at Nick Sortor on X. Just in. Stephen Bannon says Trump should run again in 2028 as his terms were not consecutive. And the crowd at the New York Young Republicans convention went wild. Ooh, I got to follow this real quick. According to Mike Davis, this is a possibility. at least according to Bannon.
Donald
Is it in our
John Trump is going to
Constitution?
raise his
The Constitution says, I'm not sure if it's can only be
Consecutive
elected
or-
twice or can hold 2 consecutive terms. But who gives a fuck? FDR, the biggest commie scumbag that ever ran this country, had how many terms? Like 14 or something, you know? Like so who cares? Who cares? I say we pass an amendment.
The liberals
to
will
allow
lose
this.
their fucking mind.
Yep. Good. They can get deported. Fuck them.
Their brains are already melting.
Yep. So here's the video.
Donald John Trump is going to raise his hand on the King James Bible and take the oath of office. His third victory in his second term. And the Viceroy, Mike Davis, tells me, since it doesn't actually say consecutive, that, I don't know, maybe we do it again in 28. Are you guys down for that? Trump 28? Come on, man. Donald.
Let's go. All right, let's check out the 22nd Amendment real quick. Section 1. No person shall be elected to the office of president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of president more than once. But this article shall not apply to a person holding the office of president when this article was proposed by Congress, and shall not prevent any person who may be holding the office of president or acting as president during the term within which this article becomes operative from holding the office of president or acting as the president during the remainder of such term. Section 2. This article shall be inoperative unless it has been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states within 7 years of the date of submission. So it doesn't say that it's only applies if it's consecutive.
Well,
But hey, FDR had did more than 2.
Well, the only thing I'm thinking about is they proved 2020 was stolen. They stole a term
Right.
from them. So
Right. That's what I'm saying, dude. It's just
But
Supreme Court should come in when we prove it.
I don't want to know. I don't want a 100-year-old fucking president.
Right. I don't either. I just want the liberal tears.
Well, I love the liberal tears, but I don't think we need. We've already got a nursing home in Washington, anyways.
But Trump is like, he's way, way sharper, even at his age. Like my neighbor in Connecticut, my old neighbor who recently moved down to Virginia, is 95 and still sharp as a tack. So there are exceptions to the rule. Gateway Pundit covering this
they're
as
lizard
well.
people.
No, he's cool, man. He's good. Yeah, well, we'll get into it. Actually, there's some interesting information about a potential cancer cure discovered in Russia involving probiotics and this little community where people were growing super duper old and we were still super healthy during the Chernobyl incident. But, Gateway Pundit covering it as well. Media hacks hurt the most after Bannon calls for Trump 2028. The Honey Badger was the keynote speaker last night at the New York City Young Republican Club annual Christmas dinner. During his speech, Steve suggested that Trump run a 4th time in 2028 since his presidential terms were not consecutive. But yeah, according to the U.S. Constitution, Donald Trump cannot run for president again in 2028. Let's pass an amendment or, do the Supreme Court thing, have them, since 2020 was indeed stolen, they should say he won. He still is entitled to that term.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too bad we didn't discover it until after he won a 3rd time, but he did win that other election too. So we'll just let him go for the next 8 years. The lib shits would lose their freaking mind.
Actually, I got a Russian that works for me at the restaurant, and he was telling me the rumor going around in Russia is that
that's your Russian handler.
Whatever. He's an old man, but I love him to death. But he said the rumor going around in Russia right now is that J.D. Vance is going to be the dictator, that he's never going to leave office.
Oh, spicy.
I'm like, bro, it's propaganda. I love it.
We got 4 more years of Trump, 8 years of J.D. Vance, 8 years of Vivek, and then 8 years of Barron, baby. Let's go. Let's hop over next to James O'Keefe. This is going viral all over X and the internet right now. A new
Biden's
shocking
dead.
undercover video has been released. Yeah, quote, Joe Biden is dead, unquote. National Security Council advisor inside the White House details how Biden, quote, can't say a sentence, unquote. Henry Apple, a former spy who currently works at the Intelligence Programs Directorate for the NSC, reveals, quote, we're concerned about Trump coming after us. Yeah, you should be, because we're coming with legal and lawful due process and prosecutions. Let's check out this
FBI
video. Yeah, exactly. Because this is bananas right here.
Well, here's the tea. Joe Biden is like dead. He can't even say a sentence. He's like really progressed in his whole game.
He was bad before he even got elected. I remember being in California in 2019 during the spool up for the 2020 race. Joe Biden was running, and I'm driving down the street. And this podcast that I'm listening to, they're playing clips of the media saying he's totally fine, guys. He's not mentally falling apart. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, what planet are you living on, dude? The guy sounds like he got a marble in his mouth. It sounds like he's got marbles in his mouth when he's talking. It's outrageous.
I wish I don't know what Joe Biden they were using.
Yeah, seriously.
Everybody recognized. I can't believe it wasn't a bigger scandal. He'll be dead in a year.
Meet Henry Appel, an advisor for the National Security Council. Henry Appel shared that President Biden had called the NSC White House phone while on a foreign trip looking for NSC advisor Jake Sullivan. Henry told the president that, in fact, Mr. Sullivan was not at the White House, but on the same foreign trip as President Biden.
My boss was on an international trip with him, like in Europe or something. The phone rang in the office, and I was like, "Oh, Mr. President, it's Henry." He was like, "Is Jake there?" He's like, "No, he's traveling with you. He's on the same trip that you are."
In another encounter with President Biden, Henry Appel from the National Security Council revealed a phone call exchange. On the call, Biden was asking for NSC advisor Jake Sullivan. Henry told Biden that Sullivan had left the office for the day. Biden stated he would call Sullivan's personal phone. Instead, Biden called the same office 10 seconds later, asking for Sullivan again.
A couple weeks ago, I was like the last one in the office, and he called from my boss. And so I picked the phone and said, "Hello, Mr. President, it's Henry on Jake's phone. He's left for the day, but I can try to get him on the line for you." And he asked me some questions, and I was like, "I don't know, let me get track him down. I'll call his Secret Service detail." And it's like, I'll try his unclassified phone. Then 10 seconds later, same phone. I picked it up again. I was like, "Hi again, it's Henry." He was like, "Is Jake there?" And I was like, "No, you called the same office."
Henry Appel stated that President Biden did not understand basic words in meetings at the White House.
Another time my boss went in to brief him, I heard the talking points. I said, "Oh, this is
this dude's got the nuclear code."
It's new, it hasn't been done before.
Potentially,
Oh my
knows?
God.
Who knows who really has the nuclear codes? Oh man.
My boss said it. My wife's like novel. What do you mean, a book? What do you mean novel? The two meanings of the word novel, he was lost them.
Henry even goes on to say, on his dating profile, his greatest strength is, quote, oversharing on the first date. You can't make this shit up. Henry Appel states that we, referring to his...
What was that?
He's trying to get some badootie, so he's going to run his mouth.
For real. Even on his profile, it says, greatest flaw is oversharing on the first date. I think it was perfect target for the swipers.
Team at the National Security Council were crying the night of Trump's victory, claiming they are all, quote, trauma bonded.
So everybody's probably she's drunk right now, right? What?
No, wait, it's drawn us closer to each other because we're all going through it together.
We shared trauma.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Trauma bond.
We're trauma bonded, yeah.
What was
What
it
the
like
fuck is that?
when you guys found out?
Trauma bonding?
What the? Do they just make this shit up?
Well, it's a real phenomenon. If like two people go through something really hardcore together, they tend to be like bonded through the forging of the, through the tempering or whatever it is.
It's very
through the
pussified to me.
crucible.
I'm sorry.
There were a lot of tears the next morning. I gotta find a new job.
Then Henry Appel shares to our undercover journalist, White House officials and national security officials are concerned about the incoming Trump administration coming after them for things they may have done wrong.
We're also kind of concerned about them coming after us. They'd investigate us or whatever.
Yeah, we coming.
In recent months, many of our fellow Americans experienced unprecedented
The Wellness Company. Let's skip through the commercials.
Essential 85
It is a good company, though, that I recommend doing business with.
Medication, and for those, the generic and burn treatment.
Burn treatment, you mean?
Field Emergency Health /
pronounce it right, Mr. O'Keefe.
OMG.
The third.
Meet Henry Appel, an advisor at the Intelligence Programs Directorate for the National Security Council. Within the NSC, Henry Appel works within the Intelligence Programs Directorate. According to multiple government websites, the division is responsible for overseeing and coordinating intelligence activities across various U.S. intelligence agencies, providing the NSC with crucial intelligence analysis to inform national security decision-making, essentially acting as the primary point of contact between the intelligence community and the National Security Council on intelligence matters. Henry met our OMG American Swiper on a dating app in Washington, D.C., and spoke more in depth about his NSC job and his background, even mentioning he was a spy at one point in his career.
A spook.
What?
I started my career working intelligence.
Oh, he's
lying. I work in the Intelligence Programs Directorate of the National Security
I doubt it,
Council. So we give all of the senior policymakers all the secrets. It's diplomacy and international relations, war, the war in Ukraine. My office is super involved in it.
Me too, feeling. How was that drawing?
Terrible.
For
a while, I thought I was going to be a spy.
You thought what?
I thought I was going to be a spy. And I did that for a little while.
Prior to the
he's just
undercover
running
meeting,
his
Henry
mouth.
informed our swiper on a text that he
I don't know, man. I think these people are straight up idiots. And it's probably true. He's one of
He's got a
Jake
punchable
Sullivan's
face. I'd punch
lackeys.
him right in the face.
in Minecraft, of course.
Well, yeah,
had
that.
a quote,
Yeah.
a lot of tea to spill. Then in the meeting, Henry stated again, here's some tea, and spilled that tea on President Joe Biden's cognitive issues.
Well, here's some tea. Joe Biden is dead. Not better. He can't say a sentence. He's really progressed in his old age. Everybody recognized. I can't believe it wasn't a bigger scandal there.
Henry Appel from the National Security Council revealed a phone call exchange he had with President Joe Biden. On the call, Biden was asking for NSC advisor Jake Sullivan. Henry
Guy's not
told
worried
Biden
about Hillary?
that Sullivan had left the office for the day. Biden stated he
Should
would
be.
call Sullivan's personal phone. Instead, Biden called the same office 10 seconds later asking for Sullivan again. Biden asked,
Embarrassing,
is
man.
Jake Sullivan there? To which Henry stated, no, you called the same office, Mr. President.
A couple weeks ago, I was the last one in the office, and he called from my boss. And so I picked the phone and said, hello, Mr. President, it's Henry on Jake's phone. He's left for the day, but I can try to get him on the line for you. And he asked me some questions, and I was I don't know, let me get the tracker down, so don't call his Secret Service detail. He said, no, it's okay, I'll call his because he called me on the classified phone. It's I'll try his unclassified phone. And then he called, and then I was okay, well, let me know if you have any trouble. And then 10 seconds later, the same phone. I picked it up again. I was Hi again, it's Henry. He was like, is Jake there? And I was like, no, you called the same office. Like, let me call the Secret Service detail for you. So I did.
In another encounter with President Biden, Henry Appel shared that President Biden had called the NSC White House phone while on a foreign trip looking for NSC advisor Jake Sullivan. Henry told the president that, in fact, Mr. Sullivan was not at the White House, but on the same foreign trip as President Biden.
He's with you, Mr. President.
My boss was on an international trip with him, like Europe or something. And the phone rang in the office, and I picked it up. And I was like, "Oh, Mr. President, it's Henry." He was like, "Is Jake there?" He's like, "No, he's traveling with you. He's on the same trip that you are." That was like a year ago. He'll be dead in a year. Or he'll be like out of public life.
Henry Appel from the NSC even stated that President Biden did not understand basic words in meetings at the White House.
My question, how has this dude not been 25th Amendmented yet? I mean, clearly he's completely incompetent. He doesn't know what novel means. He doesn't remember that Jake Sullivan's on a trip with him. He's calling the White House. Like, this is crazy. What do you think, bro?
I'm over that, bro. That's just insane. This guy's supposedly has our nuclear codes. You know, what if he just wakes up one night and just picks up the phone and goes, you know, like, come on.
Such a mess. We also have
this is crazy fucking times we're in right now. This is insane.
Super crazy. The country, the most powerful, important country in the world, is being run by a geriatric, effectively a brain-damaged mental patient. And there's a second one that would take office if he were to be 25th Amendmented. So we have exclusive footage here of Kamala reacting to hearing that Joe Biden is mentally dead.
Wow.
So bad, dude. So bad.
None of this could. All I wanted to do was grow old and live my life.
Oh, right. American dream, baby.
That's it. I wasn't bothering nobody.
They're just not letting us, man. They're not letting us.
Bringing out balloons. They're going to use the alien psyop. I'm excited about the alien thing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy stuff. We'll know better if they do drop that card. In other news, we have a Trump advisor who collapsed on stage at the New York Young Republicans Gala over the weekend. Apparently, he's all right. Jack Posobiec posted that he's okay. But here's the video of it happening. I think we can all pretty much assume what the cause of this was.
Oh no, I'm forgetting my words. But
oh, he's done. I can already tell by his voice. Good night. He got that clot shot, allegedly.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, so really bad. Alex Brusowitz, he's like, look at him, he's like a Chad, and he's being dropped as a result, most likely, of what we all know. Health Rangers saying, we don't know for sure if this was related, but it's consistent with what we've seen so many times since Trump unleashed Operation Warp Speed against the American people. Prayers to this man and his family. When will Trump apologize for pushing the... Hopefully sometime, man, because I don't like seeing this, dude. I do not like...
Me neither. You know, I used to laugh at these people. Like, you guys weren't listening to the people that were trying to tell you something, calling us crazy, and now that they're all going through this. I do feel bad for them now.
That's fucked up, man. Think for yourself. Question authority. Don't just blindly believe the medical experts.
I'm expecting half my wait staff to fall out here
any moment. It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. Invisible slap fight. That's the other option. Snarl. Maybe there was a space marine or something wearing an invisible camouflage suit who slapped him. I don't know. I don't know. Let's jump over next to this video of Trump releasing a statement about the escalating UAV/UFO events. This is a must-watch, says Alex Jones. Breaking: Trump releases bombshell statement concerning the hysteria. Trump official who solves the UAV mystery says the U.S. military and Biden know exactly what is going on and are attempting to create fear and hysteria. He also said they're showing particular interest in his Bedminster golf course, and he's canceled an upcoming trip there. Good, especially if there are potentially nuclear devices floating around. Stay away. Trump needs to just go in a bunker somewhere in an undisclosed location. I don't think Mar-a-Lago is safe right now. I don't think anywhere that Trump is safe. So he needs to go. Just
well, I can't believe him
somewhere
and Vance were at the Army-Navy game together.
I know. Yeah. They were there with Daniel Penny, though. That was cool. And of course, the media wouldn't show them. But every time they showed up on the Jumbotron, the crowd was going nuts. Had the full Avengers squad over there, including John, or what's his face? Thune. Yeah, John Thune was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So here's Jones talking about and playing Trump's statement.
Trump just came out an hour ago. We're about to play his statement with an extremely important response to the drone hysteria taking place across the United States right now. And he basically restated exactly what I've been saying. There is no mystery. The mystery is solved. These are drones. These are human-made. The Pentagon knows exactly where they're coming from, where they're going. They're showing particular interest in his Westminster golf course club, a state area where he was already planning to go in a few days. He says he's canceled his trip there. He says they're not a foreign adversary. And he says that the current President Biden has been read in and knows. And they say, well, have you been given a security briefing? He says, I won't comment on that. He's telling you what he's been told in the security briefing because he is the president-elect. This is exactly what I did, a 2-hour special report last night. Mystery of the UAV drone hysteria solved. And I laid out the legislation they're trying to pass right now that would ban all civilian use of drones, have a monopoly of big corporations and government over it. This is a big deal. This is a psyop ahead of Trump getting in 34 days. Trump understands that. This is a dead-on statement from Trump. From all the research and sources I have a lot of Pentagon sources, a lot of corporate sources in aeronautics, space aeronautics. They confirm this is a giant psyop. And they may crash into a plane. They may attack somebody. They're also promoting that nukes are missing. I've warned they may detonate nukes ahead of Trump getting in and blame it on Russia or Iran. And then
that's something I've been warning about for months, too. We've been talking about that they would do, that they could nuke us and try to launch World War III before Trump gets into office. I thought they were going to nuke us on January 6th, 2021. They had all the Patriots in one spot at one time. Would have been a perfect moment to drop a nuke.
Yeah, I don't. There was enough of you guys there, but there was enough of us that didn't go.
Yeah, hopefully. But everybody was there. Trump, Alex Jones, like even the dude, what's his face? From Facts Matter, Roman Balmakov, Epoch Times, like so many people were there. But yeah, let's continue.
Now that's happening. This is a
giant
worry
about the inauguration.
Yeah, big time. A bunch of Democrats have announced they will not be attending. Others have said they will. Others haven't decided one way or the other yet. But especially
the world leaders show up. Think about it.
Yeah, for real. What's up, Cass? Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a great weekend.
Just like COVID, just like all this different crap. So they got a lot of tracks trying to stop Trump and trying to change the agenda from Make America Great Again. The globalists are desperate. His cabinet is powerful. They know Trump's coming in to restore our republic and punish the wrongdoers so they can't do it again. And we're going to keep watching this whole UAP, UFO hysteria very, very closely with live reports here and at Real Alex Jones on X. So follow this and share this report. Here is the president's statement that I just broke down for you.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports? It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster.
Will you
Want to
shoot
know
them
the
down?
truth?
What?
They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
Have you been getting
Do you have any reason to think they're
Our all time. So pretty crazy stuff. Pretty crazy stuff. Obviously, they're lying to us. Trump knows. How about this? Open-minded approach at OM Approach on X posted this just one day after John Kirby publicly ridiculed the people of New York and New Jersey for creating mass hysteria, stating that there's no evidence for drones and that all indications suggest people misidentified airplanes. These fucking assholes.
1984.
Yeah, straight up. Just straight up gaslighting us.
Wow.
Slapping us in the face and then telling us, I didn't just slap you. In the wake of him saying, you guys are just misidentifying airplanes, 2 major U.S. Air Force bases were closed due to unknown drone activity. Watch how he mocks the people. But this goes deeper, and this is going to be a deep rabbit hole. We'll go through this thread.
Using very sophisticated electronic detection technologies provided by federal authorities, we have not been able to, and neither have state or local law enforcement authorities, corroborate any of the reported visual sightings.
What a scumbag piece of shit. This is outrageous.
Contrary. Upon review of available imagery, it appears that many of the reported sightings are
Do
actually
they not
manned
understand that we
aircraft
don't believe
that are being
anything they
operated-
say anymore?
They're just not even trying to
the
come
liberals
up with
might,
anything good.
but
the liberals.
he understands the country doesn't care what the government says anymore.
He should understand. Lou Valentino hanging out. What's up, Lou? Good to see you, bro. Bust out
What's
the
up, big
nuts,
dog?
Lou. Boom! Lou Valentino in the house. Much love to LV Nation. Good to see you, brother. Hope you had a great weekend, my friend. What do you think about this whole drone situation? Let us know in the chat if you want.
operated lawfully. The United States Coast Guard is providing support to the state of New Jersey and has confirmed that there is no evidence of any foreign-based involvement from coastal vessels. And importantly, there are no reported or confirmed drone sightings in any restricted airspace. Using very sophisticated...
There's nothing, guys. You're just imagining it. Right after that statement, on the same day, the runways at a New York airport were temporarily closed due to unknown drone activity. It's just airplanes, guys. Oh, but there's unknown drones interfering with restricted airspace. They had to shut down an airport. Why would they close the runways if only lawful manned aircraft were operating in the area? Drone sighting temporarily shuts down runways at New York airport.
So
What were
did
you
somebody
saying,
just hook up propellers to their minivan and decide to start flying them? I'm just curious.
Go gadget minivan. Let's go. One day later, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base was closed due to an unknown drones operating in the area. This is one of the main bases associated with the UAP lore. They allegedly have, mysterious stuff over there. The drones are coming from the Atlantic Ocean over New York and towards Ohio and Washington, D.C. Because just one day later, another base was also closed. Here's the air traffic controller audio from Wright-Patterson.
Patterson Tower, med flight 8, 1,900 feet, about 7 miles southwest of the field, like transition your Delta northeast bound.
Med Flight 8 Patterson Tower, use extreme caution for heavy UAS movement on the base. Security forces is handling the situation. Suggest at or above 1,700 AGL.
That we will maintain 2,000 on our transition for Med Flight 8.
And I gotta keep the lights down so that security forces can see.
Roger that, no problem.
Position approved, sir.
Approved, Med Flight 8.
Med Flight 8 Tower.
Ahead for Med Flight 8.
Hey, sir, you're still approved through our Class Delta. After you leave, Columbus is going to sterilize the Class Delta as of 0330 Zulu. Patterson Class Delta is closed after your transition.
I'm sorry about that. You got stepped on by other traffic. Can you say again?
Yes, sir. Your transition is still approved. However, Patterson Class Delta is sterilized as of 0330 Zulu for heavy unknown UAS activity. Security Forces is handling it, and Columbus is going to sterilize the airspace after you leave the Delta.
Heavy unknown unmanned aerial systems activity. Interesting. Shout out to Billdozer is hanging out in chat. Hope your mom's doing well, bro. I know that she was back in the hospital yesterday. Send in prayers and strength from Connecticut, my friend. Billdozer will be going live later tonight. We will raid at the end of our broadcast as well.
Roger that, no problem. Thank you.
All aircraft use extreme caution. Patterson Class Delta is now closed for heavy UAS activity.
Crazy. So they're shutting down Air Force bases. Now, this time, Andrews Air Force Base in Washington, D.C. was closed once again due to unknown UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles. But Kobe claimed there's no evidence of drones, only lawfully manned aircraft. So who's lying here? It seems.
Well, then I'm going to go out and put propellers on my
along.
car. That's it. I want a drone.
Hell yeah, get a Terrafugia. You won't even need to add propellers. It'll come with them.
Oh, here in Zone 3.
So this is ATC audio from Andrews now.
We have a drone here in Zone 3, approximately 600 feet high. Muscle, Power Muscle 2, actually, I'm seeing like three different drone-sized entities in Zone 3.
So this lines up with perfectly with that whistleblower that we saw on the Danny Jones show, talking about how we play with our own forces and we test the efficacy of our advanced systems, how our enemies will react by testing our own people as well. So that kind of lines up. That people at these Air Force bases may be witnessing this stuff and they're compartmentalized. So it's us and it's our stuff, but they don't realize it. So everybody freaks out. That's right, Dirk. Sterilize it.
Guardian, do you have an aircraft hovering over Upper Marlboro?
We spent over $1 million to take a balloon down.
Yeah, well, there's interesting stuff about that as well that's coming out. There was an article, I think, on Gateway Pundit earlier about how Biden wanted to open up dialogue with Xi Jinping over the Chinese air balloon that hovered over the U.S. a few months ago, and his handlers, Joe Biden's people, wouldn't let him do it, apparently. So he was unable to initiate a dialogue with President Xi, which is insane.
Guys, that will be number 2 behind them. I'm asking about the traffic at 12 o'clock, 6 miles in your airspace, about 2,000 feet. Do you have it, or 1,500 feet? Do you have it? All right, well, we're going to see what we can see what it is. Kind of clarification. So the drones that we were seeing, so we had a few drones high, about 900 feet MSL, and then 2 drones low, maybe about 600 feet MSL. They were in Zone 3, hovering around Route 2, right as you make the turn along the river. Stationary, and as soon as we got within about a mile of it, it is accelerated and could not keep up.
Crazy stuff. And we'll cover this story shortly. We're going to get to it. But in a video, John Ferguson, CEO of Saxon Airspace, a drone manufacturing company with government contracts, discusses the drones and talks about how they could be part of an effort to monitor or investigate potential threats. We'll cover this more in detail. Yeah, cocaine. There apparently were a bunch of missing nuclear warheads from Ukraine at the end of the Cold War, and one of them in particular, this guy's source saw had his hands on it, and it was being transported to the U.S. So there's multiple things that could be going on. We'll get into that in a moment as well. But a concerned citizen used the real-time radiation world map, and indeed at certain times there were areas showing over 700 CPM, which is really high, really, really high. Max radiation levels recorded at Fukushima plant on the 14th of March were only at 400, and there's appears like an area of 700 in the center of Central Park in Manhattan that was recorded over the weekend, which is insane.
I think it would be New York if they did that. They would definitely hit New York.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Makes sense to me.
Tampa, we got SATCOM right across the bridge for where I live in St. Pete, so we're definitely a target.
For sure. You got to get over to that Dali Museum, bro, in St. Pete, right near you. That place is cool.
The only problem with St. Pete, it's too rainbow for me.
Oh, brutal. Brutal. So it continues. It seems like all the dots are connecting, leading back to the events shared by Bill Ryan in 2010. Watch this, quote, prophetic, unquote, video. This information was leaked by military insiders involved in UAP programs. Appears we're heading towards World War III. And that big interview on Friday with Stephen Greer, I think is going to be really important too, as he said that high up, like commanders of 6 different black sites, I think it is, are coordinating with him to release information in upcoming weeks. Greer has been traveling to Europe, informing world leaders about the date on which this information will be released. He's spoken with Trump's incoming cabinet members, at least a couple of them, preparing for this. And so, that could be some major groundbreaking stuff in the next few weeks if that ends up coming out.
That's one thing I've been praying for, that our military won't turn on us.
Yeah, well, it seems like these people that have gone dark and they're communicating through Greer at the moment. They seem to be coming out to blow the whole thing wide open, recovering ET crafts, advanced technologies, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be crazy, man. Like Greer said in that interview, even if we, get in and reveal all this stuff, there's still going to be the problem that these military contractors with this advanced technology will have a leg up on us because they have better technology than even the U.S. military does. It could be a big, big problem, like a standoff. Let's check this video out.
They said China will catch a cold. And after that, then what effectively will be a kind of plague will actually spread right across the world to the West as well. And you've got this totalitarian military lockdown in all the governments in the Western worlds because everyone's going to be in panic about all of this. And then, he said, then the real war starts. Something that would be justifiably called the Third World War, with a much more major nuclear exchange. They believe that there is going to be what he called a geophysical event. A major geophysical event. There have been trillions of dollars that have been spent on deep underground bases for some reason.
That geophysical event could be the flipping of the planet, like we saw in that video with the little object flipping in zero gravity, and then it
well, you know how I
does
feel
a
about
180
that
every once in a while. Yeah, but did you see what happened over the weekend in Antarctica, bro? They completely destroyed flat Earth. They brought some flat earthers down there and witnessed the sun going around the entire perimeter of Antarctica, staying up for 24 hours. Sorry, bro. Flat Earth is dead. It's dead.
Uh-huh. And there was another video that they were using green screen.
No,
I forgot to send that to you. Oh, they did.
It's bullshit.
Look at his coat.
It says physics, man. You can't deny physics. Let's continue.
Which we don't know why it is. That there are repeated cyclical geophysical events about every 11,500 years. Information about what really happened to Atlantis was very probably in the Great Library of Alexandria that burnt down a couple of thousand years ago. There are persistent rumors that much of that information has been retrieved and it's in the Vatican Library. This is information which is not in the public domain.
Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Enthusiast shortwave listeners like Shortwave78 recently shared a mysterious sound resembling a nuclear air raid siren detected with a strong signal worldwide on 6911 kilohertz. This rules out hobbyists or amateur broadcasts. The air alarm stopped at 015. I don't know what UTC stands, Universal Time something, I don't know. After which the Stalingrad clock resumed its broadcast on 6911 kilohertz. Suggested these signals are being transmitted by Russian intelligence, might be connected to everything that's happening. Take a listen to this. Super weird. Broadcasting around the whole world on this frequency. Right, Mama Mac, weird stuff. So what the hell is going on there? Everything the elite is doing right now is connected to a plan to hide the geophysical prevent and prepare to their doomsday bunkers. Who knows, man? Who knows? Somebody shared earlier in the chat. Thanks for sharing this real-time radiation map. Look at this. We're getting some spikes that just appeared because these were not there moments ago. 800. What does that say? 900 just appeared in Scarsdale, New York, right on the border of Connecticut. We got 1,000 over here. We got
Is Lou still watching?
222. 700 is still live in Central Park right now. I don't know if Lou's still watching. Probably not. I know he's a busy dude. But look at this. 1,000 on one. What does that say? CPM 90,210. What? What is going on here? Something weird is going on for sure. 1,000 near Red Bull Arena. 1,000 in Athenia. Something is fucked up here. Something is going on. And it
They're
could be
going to
related
hit
to
New
this.
York
This was,
again.
wouldn't surprise me, man. Really would not. 1,000 is like the max that recorded at Fukushima was 400, apparently, Mama Mac. So 1,000 is like pretty major, pretty major. Let's check out this video from Next News that came out over the weekend talking about the nuclear situation.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to show you isn't just another breaking story. It's potentially the most significant national security threat we've faced since 9/11. A source with special access has revealed that those mysterious drones we've been tracking across American skies are actually part of a massive counter-terror operation. So that's encouraging. Okay, and this is one of the reasons why they're being so vague when they address, they're not a threat, so you have nothing to worry about. But
I also just noticed Lakewood, New Jersey, 927 showing up in Lakewood.
Check Florida, because that's
540 also in Lakewood, 786 in Lakewood. Mama Mac said that to the east of New York in the water, there was something. Oh, look at this. 800 over in the water. Yeah, let's go down and check Florida. I don't see anything major in Florida. 21, 20.
that little peninsula right there is where I live.
Over here, St. Pete area.
Yep.
Looks like you're straight, bro. Nothing going on over there yet. Thankful.
What about you?
Fuck. What about me? I mean, I'm over here in the thick of it. There's 378 in Waterbury. I'm like somewhere around this area. We got 8,000 in Middlebury. What the fuck is going on, man? This
Check
is
out
crazy.
Alaska too.
Alaska? Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll hop over to Alaska. It's weird because the ones that say like 8,000 or 9,000, they're in green, and green is supposed to be less than 200. So I don't know what's going on. Looks like we got nothing showing up in Alaska at all.
One
Canada
more for
looks
me, Michigan.
safe. Michigan, let's check it
That's where the
out.
family's at.
We've got one area with 42,069, but it's still showing up in green. So maybe the green ones that are high are like mislabeled or something. But Michigan looks pretty good for the most part, aside from that super mega spike over there. But this is sketchy, man. Super, super sketchy. Let's jump back to next news.
But how do they know that? Well, now we know. Apparently, the Office of Global Access has deployed these advanced surveillance assets for one purpose: hunting for a dirty bomb that's believed to be hidden somewhere on U.S. soil. But here's what should really keep you up at night. The reason the intel is leaking now, well, because time may be running out. Now, let's get into the details here, okay? This was specifically revealed to me, bombshell information. Now, these are our drones. These are our drones. They are tracking gamma rays linked to possible WMDs in a massive counter-terror operation. Now, it's the Office of Global Access, a three-letter agency, deployed advanced surveillance assets to hunt for stray nuke or mass casualty weapon hidden on the east and west coast.
Minnesota looks okay, Cass. Just she's asking in the chat. Minnesota looks okay.
What
Nothing
about
really popping
VA?
off over there? Virginia looks pretty straight as well. Nothing really going on over there. This is crazy.
Yeah.
The mission objectives are to detect communications that are tied to the device, partner with law enforcement for rapid response, and prevent mass panic while advancing intelligence operation. Now, low-altitude surveillance aircraft are scanning for specific signals. Special op units are ready for instant action. Cyber intel teams are analyzing the different networks. Now, sources say this could involve a submarine breach of our SOS U.S. warning nets, or a WMD hidden in a cargo container or a vehicle. Of course,
wouldn't surprise me. I've skipped this by accident, but here's Governor Kathy Hochul freaking out about the Stewart Airfield being shut down for an hour, saying this has gone too far. As this was right after Kirby and Mayorkas said, "Oh, nothing. There's no drones invading restricted airspace." So Governor Hochul is like, "What the fuck? You guys are full of shit. This has gone too far. What is going on?"
Of course,
so
the
that means
stakes
she's
are
not
high.
in on the plan.
Yeah, for sure. I bet that most of the only people that would know about this are like super, super high level people, probably, which is why the people at the Air Force bases are like, we're picking up UASs. We don't know what they are. So very compartmentalized, especially with like deployment of secret technology and stuff.
And of course, the government's silence does speak volumes because they don't want people to panic. And people already are panicking because there hasn't been disclosure, clear disclosure. As you saw in our previous report on this topic, people are actually taking up arms and they're shooting at anything they see in the sky, which should not be happening. You should not be taking up any arms. You should not be taking aim at anything in the sky.
Yeah, that's also right, Mama Mac. Some of these people could be feigning ignorance because they want to pass this legislation that we'll get into in a moment as well.
Okay, that is very, very dangerous because a lot of these videos that are surfacing, a lot of them are being identified as passenger airliners or small passenger jets. Some could be nefarious actors just trying to get people to watch their video. Oh, look, they sent up a drone. Oh, look at this. You know, people making crazy claims.
Back at your free castle.
It's creating a lot of hysteria. And we try to debunk a lot of that stuff last night. Go back into our channel, look at the videos. I mean, Japanese lanterns. People are seeing video, they're sending in videos, they're posting them online. These masses of lights in the sky clearly are Japanese lanterns. And people
disagree. They're like warping and changing colors and stuff. So big, huge
Look,
disagreement
I'm
on
not
that.
I'm not gonna pew at anything unless it's hovering over my house.
Yeah, good call.
People are freaking out. So anything that people see in the sky, this heightened sense of hysteria and paranoia. People are pointing their cameras, they're using garbage phones, and they're recording anything they see. And it's all spreading around, and it's actually muddying the waters.
There's an element of that, but there's also like news cameras zooming in on the orbs, and you can see them like warping and changing colors and stuff.
OGA's advanced ISR, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance tactics, including low and slow aerial monitoring, are actively in play. Now, the intel is leaking. Dirty bomb or worse could already be here. So,
it's already here. We know
we have
that.
corroborating
probably
information that supports what my source has revealed. Now, if you look at the front page of the Drudge Report, these are the top stories right now. Fed up New Jersey sheriff sends own drone up to follow mysterious flying objects. Drones, planes, or UFOs? Americans abuzz over mysterious New Jersey sightings. Now, this guy, John Ferguson, just published this. He is the CEO of Saxon Aerospace, a manufacturer of manned drones, giving his assessment. Now, he's got this is a 9-minute video he posted. And we're going to play it for you because what he says here is exactly what we're talking about. So he's not the only person.
That's right, Derek.
Intel from verified high source. Sarah, okay, and then the Sean Ryan show also.
This also all comes back to the 1947 National Security Act, where they can just do anything they want and keep it secret from us. It's bullshit. We pay their salaries. We fund their operations. They owe us explanations. We, the people, are the boss, not you, federal government. Something's going on. You need to tell us. We own that information. We own everything you're doing. You owe us an explanation. Remember this, Sarah Adams?
This was published 2 days ago, mind you. Sarah Superbad Adams reveals how Russia and its pipelines are aiding our enemies in smuggling supplies into America for a planned Homeland attack. Again, this is all now open source intelligence that is flooding in, and people are sharing it. We're going to play this clip for you too. Now, this is from Jack Lombardi. He just shared this with me 45 minutes after I received my text message. Urgent alert, Russia's vengeful strategy could lead to terror on U.S. soil. And I called Jack and we had a conversation. And I said, man, I just received a text about this very topic. And as Jack writes here, disturbing news has emerged. Russia is reportedly assisting this group in smuggling supplies into the U.S., potentially positioning for Homeland attack. This intelligence shared by a former CIA targeter.
I think at this point, we all just need to realize that something is going to happen here. You know, it's inevitable. I mean, we're not, it is, I mean, we're blowing up shit all over the fucking world. And if somebody doesn't think something's going to happen here, they're dead wrong.
Yeah. Rockabilly Guitar in the house says, now it makes sense since they lost some serious shit. Probably on purpose. Use the drones to cover it up. We're looking for it. Yeah. So when a nuke does blow or something, they're like, well, we were trying to find it. And we'll get into that more in a second.
Yes, a sinister motive, retaliation for the U.S. supporting Ukraine against Russian aggression. Imagine the horror of our own policies meant to uphold freedom abroad, possibly being exploited to endanger our own people. With the current administration's open border policies, have we unwittingly laid out a welcome mat for terror? I think so. The thought of lives lost, families shattered, and our homeland under threat is unbearable. This isn't just about border security. It's about the safety of every American. Russia's strategy seems clear. If we aid Ukraine, they'll strike back where it hurts most, on our soil. You know, having the border open for the last 4 years has been one of the greatest national security threats. People are talking about having multiple October 7th style events happening right here in the United States.
Yeah, and Sarah Adams, the CIA targeter, said months ago on the Sean Ryan podcast that she was personally tracking multiple terrorists coming over the border. There was like in the hundreds of known terrorists that have come over the border in the southern U.S. into our country.
People getting captured from the terrorist watch list right here in American soil. These are all mainstream news reports that have corroborated all of these concerns. We must ask ourselves, are we ready to face?
I doubt it, Donna, because 400 was only measured at Fukushima after the meltdown. So the radiation should be contained otherwise without a meltdown occurring. But who knows?
The consequences of our foreign policy when it's used against us. Can we in good conscience continue with policies that might be putting national security at risk?
It's already at risk, buddy.
This is not about politics. It is about survival. We must demand a reassessment of our border and foreign policy before we pay the ultimate price for supporting Ukraine.
Chris.
Now, let's listen to what she had to say
Rebel.
before we get into this this gentleman here, John Ferguson. We're going to play his clip. But we're going to listen to this clip here from the Sean Ryan show first.
Push at us for Ukraine. There's information that Russia and Russian pipelines are helping bring in some of the resources that are going to support Al-Qaeda's Homeland attack.
Into this country?
Yep, to push at us for Ukraine. Just like we're doing stuff against Russia.
So hold on. So
Push
let
at
me
them
get this
against
straight.
Ukraine.
So Russia's sending supplies into the United States to help with the terrorist homeland.
Their pipeline is helping move some of Al-Qaeda's supplies in the United States for their homeland attack.
Which is probably our own fucking supplies
So-
because we left everything there. Am I right?
I mean, it's a different kind of supply. I'll tell you what the supply is, but it is a Russian channel reportedly that the supply has moved through. There's
So if they're moving stuff from Afghanistan or something, it's the perfect cover then for the CIA to do something even more extreme and blame it on Russia, which is exactly what I think is going to go on.
information.
That's
Okay.
what I think the same
So
thing.
she brings up this important point. And what's even more concerning is what John Ferguson has revealed.
Yeah, this is a
Now,
great video.
what he brings up an important point. He talks about during the 80s when the Russian program, the nuclear program, was dismantled, there was a lot of missing nuclear material. And in fact, I know people close to me that aided in trying to hunt down some of that material back then. So this brings up an even more concerning situation when you consider what I have just learned about these shipping containers or vehicles, and these drones are now sniffing. They are sniffing for the signature of these devices. So when I saw this clip, I said, holy cow, it's not like it's a big secret anymore. People are connecting the dots on their own. Citizen journalists are doing the homework that the mainstream media just can't do anymore. Because they are outdated dinosaurs. Let's listen.
We can go ahead and kill CommieTube right now. If you guys want to watch John Ferguson break down what's going on, come join us on Rumble and X as we go Rumble and X collusive. Looks like we actually have 17 people watching on YouTube right now.
Oh, wow.
So we'll wait. We'll wait till
Yeah.
after the video, and then we'll terminate YouTube. Thanks for watching if you guys are hanging out over on YouTube. Appreciate you.
To what John Ferguson has to say, CEO of Saxon Aerospace.
Hey everyone, my name is John Ferguson. I'm the CEO of Saxon Aerospace here in Wichita, Kansas. I'm not normally a TikTok kind of a guy. I like watching this stuff every once in a while. But I'm a manufacturer of unmanned aircraft, military grade unmanned aircraft, as you can see one of my systems here. There's all of these mysterious drones going on off the East Coast, and as a professional, as a subject matter expert, I wanted to give you all my opinion on what I think could be going on with these drones. I don't particularly believe that these have a nefarious intent. I could be wrong, but I want to give you the truth and what I believe. It's my own opinion, and I've not bounced this off of anybody. So, if you think it's bullshit, whatever, that's cool. I don't want to spread misinformation, as we know that there's a lot of that going around. But anyway, back in the 1980s, Ronald Reagan had dismantled the nuclear program, and there were, with Russia, there were countless nuclear missiles that were disarmed and disposed of. Well, there were over 80, I believe. There were over 80 nuclear warheads that were in Ukraine that came up missing. Okay? We don't know where they are. Maybe somebody does, but nobody really knows where these are. And I speak with some pretty high-level government officials on this stuff, and it seems as though that is the case. So I spoke to a gentleman a few months ago who was trying to raise an alarm to the highest levels of our government, which they had their ears closed, about this one particular nuclear warhead that he physically put his hands on. He physically touched this warhead that was left over from Ukraine. And he knew that that thing was headed towards the United States. Okay? That is a very serious deal. And everyone knows that the United States government, this administration, is pushing to get into a war with Russia. We all know that. We all feel it. We all see it. Okay? Well, back up a few years. Do y'all remember when those drones were mysteriously flying across the Interstate 70 corridor from Colorado up into Nebraska, down here into Kansas, and out into Missouri? Well, it was believed that those drones were looking for radioactive material because there had been some material that came up missing here in the United States, and they felt like it was high probability that the nuclear or the radioactive material would be taken along the Interstate 70 corridor heading east or west or south. So from what we understand, they were out there trying to find this radioactive material. Now, drones, they have no reason to be in the air at night unless you're doing some type of ISR work, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, looking for bad guys, or looking for a victim, a search and rescue victim, or law enforcement, or some type of military project, right? There's no reason for a drone to be flying at night, really, okay? Because they don't see shit. So
can't see shit.
Unless you have thermal optics, drones really don't see stuff. You need to do mapping during the day. If you're going to do farming stuff, you mostly do it during the day. The only reason why you would ever fly an aircraft, an unmanned aircraft at night, is if you're looking for something, whether it be a person or trying to smell gas. We have methane gas detection systems that can detect gas leaks in pipelines. You really wouldn't use thermal optics for trying to find gas leaks, just simply because the only way you're actually going to find a gas leak with thermal optics is if the gas leak is aggressive enough that it has a difference in temperature. Because thermal imaging, it creates a digital image based off of the temperature variance. So whatever is different in temperature, it creates an image. Usually gas leaks so slow that it goes quickly into ambient before you can even see it. So we have special sensors that can detect gas leaks. We also have special sensors that can detect radioactive material. So with this gentleman that I had spoken with, who was trying to raise the alarm to try to get somebody in the government to say, hey, we need to work together to go try to find this nuclear warhead, none of that ever happened. They knew that warhead was on its way to the United States. That's all that ever came of it. Nothing ever happened. This government did not do anything at all to help this gentleman raise the alarm and raise awareness that there is a very deadly weapon on its way to the United States. It's out there. Nobody knows where it's at now. It left Europe. Now it's gone. So my guess, my own guess, is that these drones are not nefarious in intent. If they are, they are, but I doubt it. But if they are drones, the only reason why they would be flying and flying that low is because they're trying to smell something on the ground. That's it. There's no other reason for a drone to be flying in the air other than to piss a bunch of people off at night. That's it. So, my belief is they're trying to smell something on the ground. Gas leaks, radioactive material, whatever. So, and do I think that that they're coming up out of the ocean? No, I don't think so. Drones that are multicopter type drones, not the the fixed wing aircraft that look like regular airplanes, but the multicopters, they only have so much battery life. They have hybrid versions that are gas powered with electric, but those can still only fly for a short period of time. There's no way in hell that any drone is going to go miles off the coast as a multicopter and fly into the interior of the United States and do a bunch of work and then turn around and fly back. It's just physics will not allow that to happen. So these drones, I believe, are launched from a location that nobody knows, but I do believe that they're flying low enough that they're just trying to sniff the ground and try to find something. So again,
guy keeps saying so.
I hate to be a pessimist or a guy that thinks, directly to the negative. However, I know as a professional, I mean, we build professional stuff for the military. I believe that they're actually out there trying to smell something that's very important. So anyway, let me know what you think of this video. I'm not trying.
So who knows, man? There could be a nuke from Ukraine out there that would be made by Russia that would have.
Well, it's probably our uranium.
Russia was making them too, so this would be Russian uranium if it exploded.
Well, no, because Hillary sold some of her
signature.
uranium to Russia.
Oh, but that was we're talking about nukes that were left over from the Cold War.
Oh, okay.
These are like old Russian nukes, and one of them has gone missing. This guy's source says that he knows it was being transported to the U.S. He had his hands on it, allegedly. So it's possible that they're out there hunting for a nuke, in which case, in my opinion, it would be the perfect opportunity for the U.S., the CIA, really, to frame Russia to try to pop off World War III. I don't think that this would be something that Putin would do when he's in the middle of peace talks with Trump.
No.
So here's the full video from John Ferguson. Link will be in the description if you guys want to post it or share it or watch it in its entirety. I just shared it in the chat as well. Let's see. So Jay Anderson posted this: best explanation for the New Jersey drone situation. It's a psyop. This breakdown was given to us by a now deleted X account called Jersey Futures, saying, I'm one of the few groups of people who know exactly what the drones are in New Jersey. This tweet will likely go into the void as I have no followers, but I'll share anyway. Please retweet for reach. What you're seeing is an American-made HPGE nuclear detector drones. They can detect the presence of gamma rays miles away. But what is a gamma ray? That's the stuff we attribute to radiation, electromagnetic waves that penetrate you and can cause cancer. HPGE drones are built to inspect nuclear sites, but these ones aren't. In the late 2000s, the DoD needed a response to the threat of dirty bombs from ISIS coming into our ports in New Jersey and New York. They've been stocking up on these drones for a while. Some were deployed to Ukraine when Russia threatened the use of dirty bombs. They look weird because they're heavy and have giant cryo coolers mounted, as well as giant horn antennas to communicate with millimeter wave frequencies that can't be jammed. This is where I come in. The technology these drones use has few suppliers, both for millimeter wave equipment and the high purity germanium, the same suppliers that are the backbone of my industry. So what are they doing? Collecting information on how the public will react, PSYOP, and testing their ability to sweep a port city like New York for dirty bombs. Jersey was chosen because we're close to the closest port city to New York, and New York would be too dense for reliable millimeter wave comms. But why is the DoD silent? Again, because it's in a scenario where we have a threat of a dirty bomb and the public doesn't know yet. The DoD needs to know how the public would react if these drones were deployed to sweep a city. What many don't realize is that Ukraine is the reason we're here. That was the first time we deployed them in a combat zone, but make no mistake, they're for protecting the homeland, as the DoD bought hundreds of thousands to act as swarms capable of sweeping a city. So it could be nuclear sniffers. And I thought two things when this when I learned this. One, it makes perfect sense as a logical explanation why they're flying at night, sniffing, why there's so many of them, and in these specific areas. And then two, that it's not probably a Russian nuclear threat. It's probably the CIA that is using this as a psyop to pave the way to frame Russia for World War III, just like I and many others have been predicting for a long time. Jones seems to agree. Let's check out some of this Jones broadcast about it from last night.
But they got a couple laws they want to pass, new ones they want to reauthorize, or older laws. I mean, we know exactly what they're doing. And I'm going to lay it all out tonight so people have the answers. It is Sunday, December 15th, 2024.
Can you imagine how the people that aren't paying attention are going to react if this happens?
Yeah, they'll be.
There's going to be mass panic. Yeah, it's going to be.
If they were to say, "Oh yeah, there's a dirty bomb, a nuke from the Cold War that's been shipped over to the U.S. We're trying to track it down," people would freak out as well. So it's like anything they say will cause mass panic, which could be why they're not talking about it. One reason, at least. But
I say we get it over with. That way we can get rid of the weak.
For sure. But also, even if it is a nuclear bomb or something like that, sorry guys, we pay your salaries. Any information you have belongs to the public.
Exactly.
You have a right to be aware of a threat so people can at least try to get out of the affected area before it goes off.
I've got people in New York. That's,
Yeah, man.
The only thing I'm worried about.
We have a right to know. The National Security Act 1947 paved the way for them to keep secrets like this, set the stage for the CIA to go around the world overthrowing governments and everything and keeping it secret from the American people so we don't know the horrors and crimes that our own government is committing. Good one, Seven Samurai. Good to see you, Seven Samurai. The drones are nuclear sniffers. Biden is a hair sniffer, a child hair sniffer as well.
You can see the headline up there from X at Real Alex Jones. Sunday bombshell exclusive. Alex Jones has discovered the mystery of the drone UAP invasion. This is an absolute must-watch, share emergency broadcast. It is 4:06 Central Standard Time. We are 35 days out from the inauguration of President Trump. Okay. I have several hundred clips. I have hundreds of articles and documents. I have the legislation. I have the laws. I have the sources. I have it all. And so my job is very easy, exposing what's happening, but it's like drinking out of a fire hose. So I'm going to do my best to just give a synopsis, then I'm going to go through large chunks of it and point you to the full documents, the full reports, the full information as your homework if you want to go verify everything I'm about to say. Because like Reagan said, trust but verify. And I really want you to understand that I've done thousands of years of research over the years on this, interviewed hundreds and hundreds of guests, and have all these different sources from different angles in the private aerospace, in intelligence agencies, the military, government, all of it. And I can tell you that I've been on the phone intensely for the last few weeks, and really intensely the last 4 or 5 days, and there's a consensus of what I'm about to say by very informed people. So here's the bottom line. We're being lied to when the Pentagon and the Biden administration and the FBI tells you that they don't know what's going on and that this isn't U.S. government and it's not U.S. corporations and it's not friendly governments. and that it's not foreign governments, and they don't know what it is, but there's no problem. And this doesn't pose any type of security threat. I mean, that is preposterous. And we played the clips. I mean, Kirby says that. The State Department and the Pentagon say that word for word. This isn't us. It isn't foreign governments. We don't know what it is, and it doesn't pose any threat. Now, it's been intensifying the last 2 years, but it's been going on for a long time. U.S. naval ships, military bases, nuke bases, the most critical bases, critical infrastructure, nuclear power plants will have a whole swarm, in most cases, other times a few, little bitty orbs that are super fast, a whole bunch of large craft, you name it, show up, and then the fighter jets show up and they don't shoot them down. They don't even try. Now, that's huge evidence right there. But again, there's so much. Let me walk through it all, piece by piece here, and then I'll give you the conclusion. But here's the bottom line. You're being lied to that they don't know where they're coming from. You're being lied to that they don't pose a threat.
Exactly, Dirk.
And there is a larger psyop or psychological operation here. And on its face, you know they're lying to you. Standard procedure since the mid-50s is if an aircraft's over restricted airspace and doesn't respond for a certain amount of time, fighter aircraft come and or it gets shot down, or both. So first they tell you we don't know what it is, or it's not happening. Then they go, okay, it is, but it's not a problem. And then they don't even try to shoot them down. So that right there tells you a lot. Then we look at the craft that are swarming New Jersey and New York and military bases and cities all over the United States and other populated areas of the world. It's happening everywhere.
Good channel, Dirk.
But particularly here. And you can see in most cases, those are known drone aircraft. Then you've got the luminous orbs. We've got a lot of leaks and intel. That's human technology. But them sitting there claiming they don't know what these are in broad daylight over New York in the last few weeks, where these pods are flying around in front of everyone, and they're sitting over military bases and hovering, and nothing's done to them. What did Trump say? He said, mystery drone sightings all over the country. He said this Friday. Can this really be happening without our government's knowledge? I don't think so. Let the public know, and now, otherwise shoot them down. Now, Trump is not in office yet. And that's a whole nother area of this that I'll be showing you government documents and openly breaking down one of the main motives here. But mystery one, these are human craft. That doesn't mean throughout history and even in ancient times they got reported by all cultures that there's been something else there as well. And the astronauts have seen it. NASA's got footage of the orbs coming up decades ago to the space station or the space shuttle. I'm not saying there aren't other unidentified flying objects that are something else. Extraterrestrial, interdimensional, a breakaway human civilization that never went away, that's more advanced than Atlantis. We don't know that, but we know there is phenomenon.
Raid incoming.
Before the Apollo program,
Arm the battlements.
The craft got followed around. Our craft got followed around the moon. There's film footage of it. The astronauts reported it. It was on the news. And they said, we don't know. So that mystery's not solved. But the craft over New Jersey, the craft over New York, the craft harassing U.S. bases, particularly nuclear bases that have nuclear weapons, and then a drone crashes a few days ago in New Jersey and the police come and cover it up and take it away.
Right, what happened to that one? Sorry, glitching out here, guys.
Why don't they just show it to you? Who's telling them not to show it to you? And what the witnesses said is
Dr. Michael Schwartz has raided the stream. Arm the battlements, man the parapets. Hold the hot oil. Launch the cows, though. Screw it, we can launch the cows. What's up, Dr. Michael Schwartz? Dead Red Media. Thanks for raiding the stream, guys. Hope you had a good show over there today. At 2 Mics Live. Make sure to subscribe over on Rumble. 2 Mics Live, Dead Red Media, rumble.com/deadredmedia. Thanks for joining us, guys. Hope you had a great broadcast over there and a great weekend. Welcome back. We're covering the crazy drone situation, getting the take from Info General Jones at Real Alex Jones. This one over here on the right looks like that Pterodynamics drone that's been in the news lately, as well as the trans-wing craft that can be rigid or the wings can fold back, looking just like that one over here on the right. That looks like the Pterodynamics drone to me. Welcome, guys. Again, thanks for joining us. What are you saying, Ed?
How far do you think a dirty bomb would, how many people you think that would hurt?
Depends the population density of where it goes off and what the radius of the explosion and the fallout would be. But it would not be good. It would not be good at all. JJRSVL in the house. Make sure to sub to JJRSVL on Rumble as well. Of course, JJR, our Info Navy Combat Information Center, Command Fleet Admiral. JJR, welcome back. Let's continue here.
Big drone, propellers, all of it. Vertical, takeoff, aircraft. So,
hey, Gettin.
There is a drone or self-flying autonomous revolution. And the laws are all about to be changed.
Agreed.
They're in Congress right now to decide who can do it, where, and why. And big corporations that are quietly developing all this are lobbying that there be major controls and everybody else, but not them, just like with AI. Big corporations and the government don't want the general public or smaller companies to have access. They want to create a bunch of fear. They want to pass laws that I'll show you in a moment that put a lot of restrictions on it. So that's one layer here.
Yep, multiple layers.
And we'll go over the details of it. We've got 2 hours here. But I'm giving you the synopsis right now. But the bigger piece here is the distraction from the Biden pardons of incredible criminals. The judge that would make parents pay money, or he'd CPS and take their innocent, kids, and they were innocent away, and people that stole, $50-something million from taxpayers in Illinois. I mean, on and on and on. And you've got the war in Ukraine and that escalation, a diversion from that. And you've got our government putting Al-Qaeda in charge with the help of Israel and Turkey and Syria. And you've got the NATO overthrowing a week and a half ago
Tri-state
Romania,
what up?
And their election, and setting up a NATO coup there, and more bombing of Russia with attack of missiles last week. So it's a big new shiny object, literally and figuratively. But then here's a microcosm example. The FBI hyping for years, white supremacists are going to blow up power grids everywhere, and they secretly work for Trump and the Russians. No evidence of that crazy. And I said in the last 6 months, look for around the election that they'll start foiling white supremacist groups that are going to blow up power stations. And they busted a bunch of them around the country the day before the election. Now you do that, so when you do attack the power grid, well, we stopped at some, but we missed this one.
Yeah, sure. Who is it in the chat? Gettin said she was just over at Lady Hamilton's show. Episode 248 tonight, Headmaster's Homeroom, Worldview, worth a shot. Guest, Brianne Dressen. Make sure to hop over to Lady Hamilton Art, guys. Give her a follow. Give them a like. Check out this interview. Gettin McGroin said it's really good, so make sure to hop over there after this, guys, and check that out, or after Bulldozer or whatever. Check them all out eventually. Let's continue.
And it's already pre-programmed in your mind that that's what Trump supporters do, that they're white supremacists. That's not
Thanks,
true.
Wiley.
And that they're going to blow up power stations. Well, it's the same thing with these UAPs, UAVs, UFOs, whatever you want to call them. Oh.
What would happen if a nuke went off near a nuclear plant? Would it multiply the effects of the nuke? Would it trigger fission inside of the nuclear plant as well? I don't know, man.
It's the government, and they floated that story. The government thinks that there are stolen nukes or dirty bombs in New Jersey, in New York. Been hearing that for weeks. And these drones are out there to identify those and keep you safe. That way, when a nuke goes off, or a tactical nuke, or a giant dirty bomb, well, then it's like, well, we tried to stop it. And then that can be done right before Trump gets in. And I didn't just say that tonight. The crew went in today because I asked them to, and I said, search for times where I said they could stage a nuke even here, or Europe, or Ukraine, blame it on the Russians, because we know the Ukrainian nukes were Russian-made, and when they detonate, they will have that signature of isotopes, and we know there are at least 80 that came up missing out of Ukraine. That's mainstream news. I have those articles here, but we've talked about that for decades, the missing Russian and Ukrainian and other nukes. Well, they're back hyping it, and they've leaked out of the Pentagon and leaked out of their people who mean well when they're giving it and come out and say, oh, I hear this is drones sensing for nukes, or
this is the key right here. This is where it really gets crazy.
Or radioactive devices. And I've talked to a lot of my sources, and some are coming on the show this week.
Because this is immediately where my mind went as well. And like usual, same wavelength as Info General Jones.
They used to run major teams doing that, like Craig Sawyer.
He's a badass.
And others. And they use trucks to do that. They have devices. You drive by on light poles and things at the border, but also in other coming into big cities. You drive into a toll road in New York or New Jersey or other places, you see all these antennas and wires and things and weird devices that you never, that look like something out of a science fiction movie pointed at your car. They're scanning for radioactive isotopes and other things. And they've got passive X-ray scanners that are super toxic for you driving through it and those that work around it. But that's what's there, okay? So it's not done with these type of drones. Yeah, they can be fitted with them, but they weigh so much, on average, they're so big that the sensors aren't strong enough that they've got on these things. They don't need big sensors for chemicals. But again, ladies and gentlemen.
Not sure if that's necessarily accurate. I saw this picture here, or this post from Carolina Patriot. I was literally going to post something regarding this just now. The technology to detect radiation from up to 1 kilometer away came to fruition before 2017. Date of this article. I believe they're searching for one or possibly many dirty bombs or worse. Russian inbound attack. Not sure. More like CIA inbound attack. Explains why they're being so secretive. Wouldn't it be best to address the public about this? Yep. Radiation technology specialists Chromac and Imitech have joined forces to offer the Autonomous Airborne Radiation Monitoring System, AARM, which provides low-altitude mapping of radioactive contamination. AARM delivers meter resolution maps of radiation, including over high-dose areas and inaccessible locations, whilst minimizing the risk of operator exposure. The AARM payload contains a selection of lightweight Chromac detectors and positioning devices utilizing custom-built software to combine radiation intensity and geolocation data to produce high-resolution mapping of radiation levels and identification of isotopes present. New drone sensors can identify radiation sources from above. So apparently these are indeed small enough to fit on tiny drones at this point. So that may not be an entirely accurate point by Jones, but his overall big picture take here, I think, is pretty spot on in my opinion.
Gentlemen, that's because most of these systems fire a powerful beam out, and then there is a reflection back, similar to radar or sonar, from the isotope and a reading they get. All a sniffing drone for chemicals needs is sensors in there that scoop up the air and have a filter, and then they pick it up and then report back or go back and they download the information. So the reason I mention that is every point I make has thousands of research points behind it, okay? So it's impossible to give you all the evidence on each piece. It would take 50 hours or longer. But when I'm sitting here telling you something, this is what's going on. So you have to ask then, why are they hyping this? Is because there might be a nuke or something along those lines on the East Coast. Now, you can go back a year ago, 6 months ago, right before the election. Crew found the clips, but if I play those, it'll take the whole show. I said it. Mike Adams said it. Jack Posobiec said it. General Flynn said it. I mean, the crew found over 100 clips of us on the show, me and my guest, myself and the guest, saying another big thing they could do is set off a nuke, maybe even kill Trump with a nuke, or set one off to create a national emergency. as Trump is coming in,
and blame
and
the
or
Russians.
again detonate one here or in Ukraine or Europe, and blame the Russians. And there'll be such anger, a lot of people will, pile onto that. So that's a very chilling area of this.
That's what I'm worried about.
I think
If they're about to be exposed. Go ahead, brother.
I think there's enough people awake to realize that it's our government doing it.
Yep, but people were also awake during the 2020 election steal, and that never got appropriately handled as well, though a lot of people have woken up since that point. But this is what makes the most sense to me. Trump is in the middle of peace talks with Russia. They've given terms to Ukraine, etc. So in order to derail all that, makes sense for the CIA, who doesn't want to be exposed, and the Biden administration, if Trump gets in, prosecuting them all. They need to do something to prevent that from happening. So starting World War III, staging Russia as the culprit, and trying to declare continuity of government, prevent the transfer of power, potentially trying to take out Trump and as many other people associated with him in said nuclear blast just makes a lot of sense. It's something we really need to be watching out for. Trump needs to go way down underground in some kind of miles beneath the surface, deep underground base and just get off the surface. We need Trump. We can't let him be wrapped up in all this. Let's continue.
But then when I get into
Resolute 23 Patriot, thanks for joining us. Yeah, would not surprise me if Soros was involved with this as well, brother or sister.
The laws that are on the books and the laws they're trying to pass, and there's two of those right now. There's then another law passed in 2007, and this is the meat of it right now, that they added to the continuity of government system that they got Congress to pass. So it's a law that not just for a nuclear attack, not just for a biological attack, not just for an economic collapse or asteroid or massive natural disaster, but for any type of drone or UAV crisis, the continuity of government, Northcom, real shadow government, real deep state. I don't mean just bureaucrats that are always there that we call the deep state that are one layer. I mean the official deep state.
Smash that like button, guys.
In NORAD in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and in Cheyenne Mountain nearby, and at Mount Weather and Site R, and write all this down, folks. I'm giving you real names here. People know about Cheyenne Mountain, but you know about Site R? Most folks don't, but it's on the record. Just nobody knows about it. Maybe 1 out of 50 million. You know, Mount Weather. I mean, you need to learn about these terms I'm giving you. These are just a few. You spend days on each little term. I just give you each little name. So under the COG law since 2007 that was updated, they can use any phenomenon of unidentified craft to then kick in the hundreds and hundreds, hell, it's got to be trillions of dollars in black budget COG infrastructure, the underground bases, the underground railways, the underground systems, to trigger that and to get that in place. And then why would you trigger and activate that when it's already there, unless you're about to kill Trump or set off a nuke? Because that'll certainly get a Trump off his agenda of getting the border shut down and turning the energy back on and getting us out of the Paris global carbon tax system and blocking the central bank digital currencies and all the things he's doing. Well, when they warm up and fire up and go from just operating in the background, the whole Northcom, COG, alternate government system, they're now firing that up as they are already dissolving national sovereignty and the power of the presidency to fold that in. And then the COG system appoints the new regional governors of the 10 FEMA regions. That could also be done under the UN treaty. We didn't sign it because we exposed it, but it's still operating because it's the U.S. government and Biden and the globalists that wrote the new UN treaty. Look it up. So they don't even care if it didn't pass. They're going to use COG, continuity of government, they're going to use the Northcom system. So, new legislation for drone control and this new drone department like the FAA. Show you that. Reauthorize the FAA's expanded powers that are coming up in literal weeks to be not voted on if they don't fund it. Reauthorization. And there's a fight between this new agency they want to set up and the old agency. So it's also interagency stuff. And you've got, when the military at a base says, we don't know why there's 15 of these, 10-foot long, 12-foot long, 14-foot long things right over us when we're told don't shoot them down. Well, they're not lying. They're compartmentalized. They're just told, no, you can't shoot them down.
Exactly.
That order comes from NORAD. NORAD tells the military bases, the Army, the Marines, the Navy, what they can shoot down. The National Reconnaissance Office gives the information to NORAD. Well, who's over this new legislation they're trying to pass for total drone control? Not the FAA, NORAD. So it's also agencies fighting with each other over. That's why Trump created Space Force, was to try to draw power out of NASA. Oh, you won't do what I say? Well, I'll just create a new agency. See, and that's just like Kennedy created NASA because the Pentagon wasn't listening to him on space exploration and were stonewalling. So he says, well, I'll just create a new thing. So there's layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. It diverts the public. It changes the subject from all the stuff they want to cover up. It's a diversion. It gives them cover stories that, oh, there might.
Bullwinkles Sprinkles. Thanks for joining us. Love the name. Welcome. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to earn your viewership, friends. Smash that follow button over on YouTube.
Nukes in case they want to detonate one of those to bring in the martial law and activate the COG Northcom control. Northcom has got its own legislation set for its own new agency. The FAA wants its new powers in its new authorization over this. And all of this hysteria and fear gives more power to NORAD and Northcom. It's way more powerful than the FAA because they're the experts on this to be able to go to Congress and say, no, give us the power. But if you pull back from all of that, and unfortunately no one's doing a full spectrum analysis of this other than myself and Daniel List. And we got a clip of Daniel List from Friday's show, just a few minutes long, on the COG that I'm going to play when we come back. And then I'm going to start going through all this and show you the documents, show you the laws, show you the proposed legislation, or not proposed legislation, the legislation that's in. And I'm going to show you the 2007 law that puts Northcom over a national emergency and can trigger a national emergency that's not even declared to the public at first. They can do whatever they want.
Drones.
And Congress passed this law. So
outlaw dogs.
The shadow government's fighting with itself over power. Trump's coming in. They've triggered this crisis using corporate drones so they can deny and say it's not the government, but those corporate aerospace companies have contracts and are the highest level national security in NORAD, in Northcom. And they're the main, not even suspects, it's them that are over this, and they're deploying this to carry out and enforce a bunch of agendas. So we know it's human. We know the government's lying. We know most of the government's compartmentalized and lied to as well. So the average FBI agent is not guilty at all. The average congressperson has no idea what's going on. Only a few senators on key committees have some oversight in this. And this is your rogue, out-of-control scientific dictatorship that President Eisenhower warns you in his farewell address in
once he realized he was on the bad guys team.
Was it 18th, 19, was it 16th, 1961. It's only 21 minutes long. Go watch it. It's on YouTube. Then he said there's a scientific technological elite now in control of over 90% of all research funds. And they've basically broken away into creating a new civilization, and they control the military-industrial complex, and they need to be controlled and broken up.
And we got a video in a little bit with Mark Andreessen, the tech billionaire genius who was on Joe Rogan like a week and a half ago, who was talking about that big meeting that he was in where they said, we're taking over AI, we're going to put it under the control of the government and a couple big corporations. And he came out of the meeting with his buddies and was like, we got to endorse Trump because this is out of control. Apparently, in that same meeting, they told him, he was like, well, how are you going to do that? There's already, math being taught all around the world about AI. And they were like, oh, we'll just classify it like we did with several branches of physics back at the end of World War II. They took 0-point energy, anti-gravity technology, all of this crazy stuff that they use in the secret space program, and completely classified entire fields, entire subcategories of physics research from the public, hiding and suppressing the fact that they have these advanced technologies. We'll get into that in a little bit as well. Let's continue just for a moment.
Because they pose the greatest danger to the future of our republic, not the communist. Go watch the speech. Go read the transcript.
Yep. So they're probably using this as cover. The U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission also just released a report confirming radioactive material was lost in transit, that a shipping container arrived damaged and empty in New Jersey. Is this the main thing, or is this just another cover story to throw people off of the dirty bomb scenario? The U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, NRC, has confirmed that radioactive material was lost in transit earlier this month, heightening fears about public safety and sparking theories about mysterious drone activity in New Jersey. Officer Liu, a prominent political commentator, highlighted the NRC's event report during a review of regulatory alerts, saying, quote, while looking at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission alerts, I can confirm that there is radioactive material that has gone missing on December 2nd, 2024, out of New Jersey. This might be the reason for the drones, just speculation at this point. Yeah, if it went missing the 2nd, and all these, we'd already been seeing a lot of these, though, even before the 2nd, but it does seem like on the 3rd, the date predicted by the WebBot, the Cliff High thing in 2009, it does seem like the activity skyrocketed on that particular day. So this could be some kind of black op to start a war, put people in danger as a result of Trump winning the election. As the WebBot said, the trigger event would be Trump being interviewed by Joe Rogan. So that seems to indicate to me that this is a result of Trump winning the election, which means that it's probably deep state shenanigans. The missing material, identified as a GE-68 pin source manufactured by Eckert and Ziegler, was reported lost by its licensee on December 3rd, 2024. December 23rd, that's the WebBot date precisely. Shipped for disposal. The container arrived at its destination severely damaged and empty. According to the NRC's report, the radioactive source, while classified as, quote, less than IAEA Category 3, unquote, still poses potential risks if mishandled or exposed for prolonged periods. According to the report, agreement state report, source lost in transit. The following information was provided by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, NJDEP, via email. Quote, the licensee reported to NJDEP on December 3rd, 2024, that a GE-68 pin source that they sent for disposal has been lost in transit on December 2nd, 2024. The source is an Eckert and Ziegler model HEGL-0132 with current approximate activity of 0.267 MCI. The shipping container arrived at the destination damaged and empty. Well, who would know that it was even going to be there?
Yeah.
This seems like deep state operations, man.
This is
Gonna
crazy.
say something, Ed?
No, this is
Yeah,
just
so
crazy
even
shit.
super crazy, even this element of this seems like it's probably a deep state op to me. The licensee has filed a claim with the shipper. If the source is not located within 30 days, the licensee will follow up with a full written report to include root causes and corrective actions. This event is reportable under 10 CFR 20.2201, Section A12, New Jersey event report ID number to be determined. This material event contains a less than Category 3 level of radioactive material. Sources are that less than Category 3 are either sources that are very unlikely to cause permanent injury to individuals or contain a very small amount of radioactive material that would not cause any permanent injury. So this isn't enough to get those spikes that we've been seeing on the radiation map, in my opinion. Some of these sources, such as moisture density gauges or thickness gauges, they're category 4, the amount of unshielded radioactive material, if not safely managed or securely protected, could possibly, although it is unlikely, temporarily injure someone who handled it or were otherwise in contact with it or who were close to it for a period of many weeks. So this doesn't seem like enough. Just as this radioactive mishap was quietly made public, a string of mysterious drone sightings over New Jersey has raised eyebrows. John Ferguson, CEO of Saxon Aerospace LLC and an expert in unmanned aerial systems, has presented a startling theory. The drones may be searching for the missing radioactive material. Well, he said he was talking about an older event out in Colorado. He thought that it was related directly to this nuke missing from Ukraine that his source had hands on and was made aware that it was being transported to the US, as we watched in the video. So it does seem like the most likely scenario is that these are sniffers trying to find nuclear stuff. However, this category 3 or lesser threat seems like not the actual threat at play, in my opinion. It seems
This is definitely the government. It's definitely the government because people aren't just going to walk up and, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just not going to go, okay, that's nuclear. I'm just going to take that. It's the government because they know who's going to know that it's being shipped.
Right, exactly. There's a very limited number of people who'd even know about this. It's definitely deep state op, in my opinion, allegedly. How about this? Mama Mac knows about this. Zero Hedge reporting New Jersey drone invasion just in time for Congress to reauthorize Orwellian law. A series of drone sightings over New Jersey that began in mid-November, way before the December 2nd date that shipment was allegedly stolen, has left residents and lawmakers spooked about the possibility of foreign adversaries breaching U.S. airspace with drone swarms. While officials have attempted to reassure the public, some lawmakers have stoked fear, leading to widespread panic on social media, with people interpreting anything moving in the night sky as a potential drone, even commercial jets and stars. Days ago, FBI and U.S. Homeland Security Department released a statement indicating, quote, "We have no evidence at this time that reported drone sightings pose a national security or public safety threat or have a foreign nexus." They're like, we don't know what it is, who it's made by. Then how do you know it's not a threat? If you don't know what it is, then you can't possibly know it's not a threat. Quote, "Historically, we've experienced cases of mistaken identity where reported drones are in fact manned aircraft." How stupid do you think we are? Most of these are definitely not. White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby said many of the purported drone sites are commercial jets. Insane. Where's the information about the legislation? Let's skip ahead a little bit. So no actual drones have been recovered except for that one in New Jersey, which may have been scooped away and hidden. Footage on X frequently features amateur videos mistaking drones for commercial aircraft. While we're not dismissing the possibility of foreign adversary-operated drones breaching heavily restricted airspace, we're pointing out the extraordinary hype on social media with no substance, which has caused widespread panic, with some users calling X this a psyop. And there is this legislation that they're trying to pass. Is this the cause of the drone uproar? FAA Reauthorization Act of 2018 expires on December 20th. The, quote, replacement, unquote, being pushed as a bigger grab at taking our freedoms. So let's see. The user MCM_CT_USA on X makes the point the purported drone sightings could be a, quote, psyop against you to manipulate Congress into passing the new H.R. 8610 counter UAS Authority, Security, Safety, and Reauthorization Act of 2024, which will include appropriations and enhanced government powers to control you. And they're even going to so far as to push it for acts of war against other countries. Drone mystery solved. The FAA Reauthorization Act of 2018 expires December 20th of this year. So the federal government is literally using a terrorism psyop against you to manipulate Congress into passing the new H.R. 8610 counter UAS, unmanned aerial systems, authority, security, safety, etc. It's coincidental that last week a Homeland Security Joint Subcommittee held a hearing on H.R. 8610, the Counter UAS Authorities, Security, Safety, and Reauthorization Act. This bill would renew and reform counter unmanned aerial systems legal authorities and strengthen the FAA's oversight powers of drones. Quote, The reason we need legal authority is that without it, the use of the most effective types of drone detection and counter-drone technologies could violate criminal laws, including those that prohibit destroying or disabling aircraft in flight and intercepting signals and communications, said Brad Weigman, the DOJ's Deputy Assistant Attorney General for National Security. With current drone countering authorities set to expire December 20th, the sudden surge in purported drone sightings and the accompanying mainstream media and social media panic might make a bit more sense as an effort to push for the reauthorization of Orwellian drone laws. Problem, reaction, solution, paradigm. Mama Max sent this link, and here's the one world government power grab. If they can't make us vote the way they want, they'll use force. I will not comply. MJ Truth Ultra at MJ Truth Ultra on X saying, there it is. Congress is proposing to expand the use of CUAS technology to state, local, tribal, and territorial law enforcement agencies to protect you from drones. Counter unmanned aircraft systems, CUAS technology, is a range of tools used to detect, track, and neutralize drones and other unmanned aerial vehicles. We, the government, can't protect you from drones. We need help. The problem with this is the significant potential for mass surveillance, the allowance to bypass privacy protection, the ability to hack into devices, waive wiretapping protections, and the seizure of property without a warrant. So they're trying to scare everybody to get us to willingly relinquish our rights so that they can spy and hack into everything, allegedly. CUAS systems use cameras and sensors, which could lead to the unintentional monitoring of innocent people. I'm sure that won't happen, though, right?
They're
Not to
doing
mention
that
a
already.
massive... Oh, yeah, totally. Every cell phone, listening, watching constantly, in my opinion. Not to mention a massive amount of data collection, which is considered gold for intel agencies. I'm sure they'll manage our data responsibly, though, right? In a nutshell, they want these tremendous federal powers to bypass our constitutional privacy rights to be handed down at the state level, all under the guise of protecting us from drones. Can you imagine how abusive some states will be using this technology? California, Oregon, etc. Let's check out this clip.
All right. Thank you so much. Congress is currently considering authorizing a pilot program for state, local, tribal, and territorial law enforcement agencies to operate CUAS technologies. Expanding these authorities must be done carefully, as doing so requires waiving wiretapping protections and other critical protections to place to protect privacy and civil liberties. How can we ensure the operation of such technologies, potentially by a large number of law enforcement agencies, will be closely coordinated with and overseen by federal authorities? Mr. Wigman, most critically, how can we protect privacy and civil liberties?
Thank you for the question. So if the pilot program, the state and local pilot program that you mentioned is
Agreed,
adopted, there would have to be, the law would require training for all state and local officials. It would also require them to follow the same procedures that my FBI colleague just mentioned in terms of the type of technology they can use, the type of data that they can collect, the rules of engagement.
Interesting on X, bro. I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good.
Type of facilities they can correct, so if they do it safely, they'd have to work with the FAA. All of their activities would have to be approved by DHS and Department of Justice working with FAA. So it's quite a labor-intensive kind of process that we're envisioning under the state and local pilot program to basically get state and local authorities up and running so that they can mirror and do the same things that we do at the federal level. And that includes protecting privacy and civil liberties.
Oh, sure. These people, man. Health Ranger, Mike Adams had a take on it too, saying, at Health Ranger on X, quote, "It's looking pretty clear now that the U.S. government is using its secret military drones to terrorize the American people in an effort to persuade Congress to pass Orwellian new drone restrictions that would prohibit citizens from being able to fly drones at all. Apparently, all the drone flights over North Carolina and other, quote, disasters, unquote, can no longer be tolerated because they contradict the official narratives. Lies. Government narrative shapers need basically a kind of drone Patriot Act to heavily surveil and restrict drone flying by Americans so that we can't expose their bullshit narratives that they try to push on us. So they terrorize everybody and claim it's not them. Classic behavior of a government that considers you to be the enemy. You will be blinded while they will control all the skies above you. Sounds pretty good. Ooh, look. There's that interview that I keep talking about. We played some of on Friday with Greer. Ed, this is what Ed just shared with me on X, World War III at World War _3_ posting this massive drone, quote, mothership spotted in New Jersey. I'm seeing this for the first time right now. So I don't know what the veracity of it is, etc., but let's check it out. A colossal drone, quote, mothership, unquote, was seen hovering over New Jersey, leaving residents stunned and sparked widespread speculation. Is this a breakthrough in technology, a UFO, or something entirely unexplained? Witness the jaw-dropping footage and share your theories. Let's check it out, guys. SGI to me. Who knows, man? Anything is possible at this point. Anything is possible. We also had a meme someone posted in the chat. People up north checking out the drones. Whoa, look at those people down south checking out the drones. Ba-boom, ba-boom. Sounds about right. Wiley also posted this drone tracker link in the chat. So if you guys want to monitor live time reports of where these drones are being spotted, this is a good place to go. Link, I'll post it right now in the chat again for you guys if you want to check it out. Let's see. What do we have next? We're going to change subjects now. I think we pretty much covered most of the angles of the drone thing. Kites strapped up with tannerite. Nice call, Cheddar. Crazy B says, I think Poland is on the right track and the rest of the world needs to follow suit. It's not racist, it's common sense. Imagine if a bunch of people decided to illegally enter a Middle Eastern country as Inevitable West at Inevitable
Poland don't
West
play.
Post. Yeah. Breaking. Polish military are now firing live ammunition at Islamic or Islamist invaders trying to reach Europe. Gunses are not allowed on YouTube, so we are going to have to go ahead and terminate the YouTube broadcast. I see there's still 14 people watching over there. Sorry to have to ditch you guys.
Come over and join us, guys.
Yeah, come join us on Rumble where the water is warm and we can speak freely. Just posted the link in the chat for you guys. If
you don't have to have an account for it either.
In the dust. Yeah, you don't need an account, but make one so you can hit that follow button. And we typically go for like an hour-ish on YouTube, and then we go for another couple hours on Rumble and X. So we're going to go Rumble and exclusive. That's right, Mama Mac. Come Rumble with us if you can't make it. Sorry to have to leave you in the dust. We'll be back tomorrow for another edition of Common Censored, broadcasting weekdays, 6:45 p.m.-ish Eastern Time. We will catch you tomorrow, YouTube. Until then, let's get ready to rumble!